You've heard it before. It's all about quality and not about quantity. This is particularly true with data. You could have all the data in the world, but if it's fraught with errors and omissions, it just simply isn't trustworthy. Even worse, if you don't know how bad the data quality is, decisions are constantly being made based on incorrect, incomplete, or conflicting information. And in the financial services industry, that could be very detrimental. Whether your community bank or credit union is about to undergo a system upgrade or management is just tired of not being able to trust the data, now is the time to do something about it. Data isn't going away, and the longer you wait, the dirtier your data will be. Okay, so you're on board that you need to get your data cleaned up. But how do you go about doing that? Well, architecture can make this process a lot easier and painless than you might think. In this video, we're going to take a look at the data quality dashboard that we've created, show you how easily defects can be identified through data quality rules, as well as tracking the progress of eliminating those errors. So here we have our data quality dashboard. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to be using architecture's very own data here. We include sources such as Fitbit, our HubSpot marketing software, our QuickBooks instance, and the like. But we also like to track the errors that are occurring in those systems so they can get corrected in a timely manner. But for a financial institution, you can think of this as loans or deposits from sources such as your origination system, your servicing system, or your core platform. There are a lot of great options to explore here. But first off, even if you haven't seen anything like this before and you have no idea what you're looking at, you probably can't help but notice that something happened on June 11th that wasn't like any of the others. And you're right, looking at data quality in a visual format such as this allows you to identify when things go awry very quickly. And that is the beauty of data visualizations. Along the top of the dashboard, underneath the title, we can see three numbers are called out. The first one indicates the number of outstanding defects. These are the number of the defects in the data that have errors and need to be looked at. Ideally, the lower the number, the better, because this means we have fewer errors. What drives the number of defects are rules behind the scenes. There can be as many or as few rules as you would like to define. While these 38 data rules have been defined by architecture for our data sources, in the case of banks and credit unions, they can be defined specific to your sources and types of data. Examples could be missing social security numbers or tax identification numbers, missing credit scores or missing dates of birth, invalid state codes for mailing addresses, or even maturity dates being mismatched with a loan term. The last number indicates the average severity of all of the defects. Severity can be set per rule and indicates how critical the rule is if it fails. For instance, an average severity of 1 indicates a very critical rule that needs to be addressed right away. Severity of 5 may indicate a rule that you want to address, but may be lower on the priority list. Along the top here, we have a number of controls to filter the data that we are viewing. The first control allows us to set the date range that we would like to see. By default, we are looking at the past 30 days. The next control is View By. This controls the color bands on each bar. By default, it is set to rule, but can be changed to a severity, business line, classification, entity, or the actual field name that is failing the validation. You can see now that I've changed it to business line, when I hover over the colors, I can see the department that these defects are associated with. In this case, business development, finance, and marketing. This third control allows you to search by a specific rule number. The business line control allows me to filter out departments that I do not wish to see. In this case, I have set the filter to only show business development defects. The source control allows you to filter on defects from a particular source system. In banking and finance, these sources are typically your origination system, your CRM, your core system, or your loan servicing system. Under defect type, we can limit the defects that we are seeing to a certain type of defect. Every defect is assigned a particular defect type, and these can be customized per financial institution. The last control is to filter down to a specific employee. While we change these controls, the top banner of summary numbers dynamically changes. Now getting back to the dashboard, it is highly interactive. So as mentioned before, on June 11th you can see there was a spike in errors. We can hover over this bar to see exactly how many defects there are and the type of defect that was being triggered. You can also see a description here of the defect. In this case, the contact is missing the type of industry. If we want to dig more into what happened on June 11th, we can click the defects on the bar and then drill into them. This view shows you all of the defects that have failed that rule. Because having data quality across an organization is a team effort, it is important that every employee be aware of how their contributions affect the system as a whole. To help instill a sense of accountability as well as ownership of data quality, we have created a tab here at the top called My Defect Detail. This screen shows the errors in the data that you are specifically responsible for or assigned to. As you can see, some of the controls here are the same as on the main page, so you can filter however you would like. Along the top, you can see the same 3 numbers that are called out on the main DQ Errors dashboard. However, these numbers are particular to me. The bar graph here functions the same as on the main dashboard, where you can drill down into a defect to obtain more information. Results can also be exported to Excel to be utilized as a list of errors to be corrected simply by clicking on the download button. Initially, when the data quality dashboard is set up with a company's data, it is really eye-opening. It will quickly identify where the bulk of your errors are coming from, and you can set a course to correct them. Once the data cleanup is underway, you'll want to be able to show the progress of how things are going. Here, we have an error cleanup dashboard, which shows the number of defects that have been successfully fixed. With this information, you can identify who is and who is not cleaning up their defects. This helps us to know when to reward, as well as exposing where there needs to be follow-up to ensure better compliance. The data quality dashboard can be invaluable in a number of ways. The first is in helping your team quickly identify dirty data, providing employees the tools they need to clean up their defects, and monitoring cleanup of the data over time. It shows you where your data needs improvement, as well as making everybody accountable for ensuring data quality. With a visual presentation of the quality of your data, you know at a glance just how trustworthy your data is, and the better your data, the happier your customers will be. Here at Architecture, we specialize in architecting your data into an advantage. As a comprehensive data consulting company, we help banks and credit unions harness and analyze their data so they can be confident when making big decisions. We'd love to discuss your data challenges with you and help your company get ahead of the competition. Thank you for joining us today.